Hey everybody out there, my name is Dragnix, and this is a celebration video. Hopefully it stays this way, but it may not, but you know, this is a good celebration as it is. I reached 500 subscribers, and I'm almost at 75,000 views. I'm pretty much around the corner on that in terms of, I think I have like 300 views left, and so I think I'm gonna get there at this point. So this is a thank you video. Now there is a giveaway as the video says, and you're gonna have to stay till the end and listen to me rant for a little bit to understand what you need to do in order to enter the contest and you know everything around that. But first and foremost, I want to thank everybody. Even people who have watched one video, even person who has watched 1 minute of my stuff, it is appreciated. Again, I am trying to make a career of this after doing software engineering for so long. I really do appreciate people who have given me feedback and, telling me, you need to change things up, or, hey, thank you for, pointing out this game and, something that I really enjoyed and things like that. It's the sort of feedback that I really need in order to sort of, push myself forward. And I thank everyone who has come to me on the channel and then sort of off the channel in terms of just, hitting me up on Steam. So I thank everyone for that. And don't get me wrong, I will definitely be taking that into consideration in terms of future videos. Part of the reason why I went a couple of weeks ago and talked about, sort of lessening the content on the channel in terms of like focusing on quality is the fact that I seem to get a lot more content in terms of, feedback in terms of some of the bigger videos I do, some of the more elaborate pieces I do. And while I think like Let's Tries, for example, are definitely something that is beneficial to the channel, sometimes I've wondered if I went a little bit too quickly on them and didn't give the game that much of a due. Now, don't get me wrong, the content that you saw was always truthful in terms of like my experiences, and I believe that it was accurate in terms of information. There are times where I've questioned whether or not that was truly what the experience that maybe I was looking for versus what it actually was. Mystic Bell being prime example. It playing on nostalgia for people and me just not seeing it. But it's stuff like that where I want to take a step back and look at something before I publish. And I've always felt over the last couple of months that it's like, okay, I got to put a video out every day of the Monday through Friday. There was a time where I was trying to publish a video every day, and my quality dipped. There's no question about that. My quality dipped. And I was also doing Tech Raptor stuff. I'm still doing Tech Raptor stuff. If you guys watch the channel of Tech Raptor, you'll be seeing Adventures of Pip review. And, it's the combination of Tech Raptor and this channel where, it is sort of a coming of age kind of thing. I know I'm 28. I'm a little bit older than, this whole, young hero kind of thing, but it's sort of learning things about myself and, my issues, but my strengths as well. My different sense of humor, my want of sharing games with people, because it has had such an impact on my life that, I do want to share that with everyone. I do really want to show games that maybe you might have missed, but games like Olympia Rising, for example, where a lot of people take a look at that game and they're like, oh, it's a $5 game, it's not going to be worth my time. And yet I enjoyed that probably a lot more than other games during that week because it was done well. Game design and the fun factor makes so much of a difference in terms of just enjoying a game. Sometimes the price of a game can be very misleading. Remember, Alone in the Dark was a $30, $40 game in terms of that abomination that was Illumination. It's more about, whether or not you see the passion within the project, and not only that, like whether or not they do things technically right. A game can be the most beautiful experience, but be so flawed that it's hard to enjoy. I would cite Torin as an example of that, where, yeah, I enjoyed the visuals and I enjoyed what the aesthetic that it was going for, but when it technically came down to it, it just failed. I want to do more things like that, and I do want to give people the feedback that they need as developers too. I think that's one thing I've always wanted to do as a developer myself, as a software engineer, is the fact that I always felt like negativity in terms of some of the stuff that I do, unless if the game's like really horrible and I can see that. It's probably why I'm more hard on AAA games more than anything. People saw that I did like 4 videos on Resident Evil Revelations 2's game design, and they're wondering, well, you gave it a 4.5. I'm assuming that there were other games that were worse than that. Yes, but that was a situation where they should have known better. They should have known the strength of their audience and what they were going for. And the fact that they didn't and made so many bad design decisions is why I had a lot worse of a time with that game than anything else. It's why I'm so defendant of things like Batman Arkham Knight, where I see what they were doing, and while not everybody enjoyed every portion of it or may have different interpretations of the plot, I will defend that game because I think it was what it was trying to do, it did right. We can talk about the Batmobile all we want, but that's a completely different story. But I also want to talk about the fact that I'm going to get a little bit more out there in terms of sort of a creative nature on the channel. I've been working on this bigger piece for about a couple weeks now. I'm almost finished with the game. I've been making my notes along it. I'm going to give you a little sneak peek of the footage here, and you'll probably not be able to guess what this game is unless if you've seen it before. But let's just say this game has a lot of material for me to work with. It's going to be a more, not only a humor piece, but again, I always want to take a look at things at an analytical level and see what went wrong with the game. And this game is sort of, I don't know how long this video is going to be or if it's going to be a part video at this point, because it's just got so many issues that I can't even begin to describe. It's a goldmine of just not only just badness, but just like me sitting there going, what in the hell were the developers thinking on this one? So you'll be seeing that in a couple of weeks. I've almost finished the main story. I've got my notes together. It'll be something completely different for me. And one of the things that I've gotten feedback on, and I have to thank a bunch of people for this, is to sort of find my voice. Now, people have talked about, they like the sound of my voice, and they like the, how clear I am and things like that. But in terms of me as a person voice, like my emotion into it, sometimes I can get into that sort of robotic state where I'm listing off facts, and I let the analysis sort of overshadow my emotion about the game. And while I think analysis is critical in terms of games and showing people what exactly a game does, that doesn't mean it has to be robotic. And I have sort of lost that at times. I think part of that is the quality issue where, I'm trying to rush things and I'm, not getting as invested. I think that will improve in time. So there's that, and I am working on that. You'll probably see that over the next couple of videos. At this point, I will be refining it. It's not going to happen overnight. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but I also feel like a lot more confident with the fact that people are still watching my stuff and willing to give me feedback and critically talk to me about, hey, this is what I think you need to do. That is very much appreciated. All right. I also do the TechRaptor stuff. You've probably seen me post more articles on TechRaptor if you follow me on Twitter. It's always good to be along the same lines of the sort of gaming world in terms of like being involved with it. You've seen me do some more editorial articles on there. I have liked writing a little bit more than I thought I would with the site. Again, I'm a video content creator for the site. I'm their lead video editor. I do videos for them, once a week, basically. So, again, people have questioned me, like, why not just move all this stuff to that channel? And, I've thought about it, but I do like my own sort of thing. When I do stuff on TechRaptor, I feel like I have to have a sense of professionalism. That's my own sort of description of it, where yeah, I can be humorous, for example, within a review on there, but I feel like the experimentation kind of stuff where I try something completely different, I don't think it's appropriate when, I'm doing a review of a game that a developer gave me a key for. I mean, that to me is like, okay, that's not the place nor time for me to do that. So you're going to see me still put content there. I will be always making video links here. You'll be seeing like Adventures of Pip again, like I mentioned, a full review over at Tech Raptor in the next coming week. And I will be doing more content like that for them. The next one is going to be an interesting one because there's a visual novel, and I haven't done a visual novel that doesn't have a mechanic to it before in a video form. So that's going to be a weird one. But enough about me talking about this. You guys probably want to know what games are available this time around. Now, this is going to follow the same guidelines as the last giveaway I gave. I'm going to do a Q&A. This is the second one I'm going to do. And basically what you need to do, it's going to be a little bit different this time. The Q&A will involve, you need to ask as many questions as you want, at least one question about the channel, about myself, about Tech Raptor, about anything involved in games or anything. You know, you can ask me about my personal life if you want. I may not answer, but hell, you know, ask me anything at this point. Consider it an AMA of sorts. So you put that in there, and if you haven't given me your Steam ID before, give me your Steam ID, because one of the things that I ran into the last time was just trying to find people on Steam and everything like that, which unfortunately took me a while. I finally got the last game to someone, old man gamer 72, just last week. So it just took me a long time. Part of that was me. Part of it was just timing on stuff. But enough about that. Let's talk about the games that I have. So I have a collection of games that I've done reviews on, but also some bigger games that you guys probably will enjoy. The biggest one being a copy of Witcher 3. Now, I have not played Witcher 3. I have surprisingly not played Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is one of those games right now where I'm doing this for a living, and the last thing I need is a game that will engross me like it could, and I could see Witcher 3 being that game. And it's one of those situations where I want to pick it up, I want to play it, but I also want to be able to give you guys content, so I don't know if I really want to do that. I've heard nothing but good things about it. It is a PC copy, and I'll be giving it away. So that's the big prize at this point. There are some good prizes in there too. I did a review on this, Rocket League, for the PS4. This was from the developer actually. They said I can give it away at this point. Originally, I had requested a key, and just by circumstance, because of the whole PlayStation Network and things like that, I wasn't actually able to use it. I just used my PS Plus stuff. And so I'm like, oh, do you want this key back? And they're like, nah, just, you can use it for whatever. So I want to give it to you guys. That game is fantastic in terms of multiplayer. I mean, there's a reason why it's so hyped. And, a lot of people talk about, well, the hype can be overhyped and things like that. For that game, I would say absolutely not. That game is worth every penny. I mean, it's a $20 game in itself, but not only that, it's just perfect for what it does. And it's the great example of when design stops, when you don't over-design things. All right, so other games that I've got on the list. Defense Grid 2, it is a tower defense game that is probably the best in its genre. I did a video on it, didn't get a lot of views, but it's fantastic. I mean, if you are looking for the tower defense game, that's it. Deus Ex, Human Revolution, Director's Cut. Again, what can you say about the series? There is an upcoming game that's coming from Square Enix in the near future, but that one, it's one of those games where it understood how to bring it to the sort of forefront of the modern day gaming society while still keeping the themes of the old one, and it's a great example of a game that knew what it was. Transistor, again, I love everything from the creators of Bastion. That was no exception. It was in my top 10 games. I think it was in my top 10 games of 2014. I'm trying to remember at this point. I know it was in the running, but it's a fantastic game nonetheless. It changed the formula a little bit. It's a wonderful masterpiece, and you should all enjoy it at this point. A Druid's Duel. Again, it's a strategy game. It's definitely a little bit different. It's a little simplistic, but simplistic can work, and it works in this case. Oscura Lost Light. I did a video on that. It's a good platformer. I'm very Limbo-esque, but it was enjoyable, and it was one of the first ones where I had sort of reached out to a developer for a key, and so I really appreciated the chance to take a look at a game. for them to take a chance on me to make a video on it. Fist of Jesus. It's Fist of Jesus. It's just hilarious. It may not be the greatest of games, but it's funny as hell. The Witcher 2. Yes, I have a Witcher 2 copy as well to give away. Postal 2. Again, I love Postal 2 only because of all the conventions of games nowadays, it just says, screw it, I'm going to do what I want. And I love it for that. The Paradise Lost DLC, I did not include in this, but I would recommend people to pick it up. Deponia, again, point-and-click adventure game. Fantastic writing, fantastic artwork, fantastic story. Always worth your time. And then Sanctuary Black RPG. I know, a text-based RPG I'm giving away. I know that sounds weird, but it is pretty good and pretty entertaining and pretty different from everything else I've done. So it sort of stuck out. Now, again, people are like, what you must spend a lot of money on this stuff. I want people to understand that I'm very much a planner on things, and so a lot of these games in question I picked up when they were cheap. I'm very much a planner in terms of I don't buy these things like, right now. The only one I did buy right now was Witcher 3 because I wanted that to be the big game giveaway. But when bundles come up, I hold on to things, and I've got a list of games to give away for future giveaways, that's significant at this point. So don't worry about that. I do plan on these things and make sure that you guys get, good games, but not only good games, but, that I'm not, putting myself into a dangerous situation. All right, once again, leave your comments, questions below. Once again, this is a thank you video, so again, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm going to keep this going. I'm going to keep doing what I do with this channel. Tomorrow, you'll be seeing a new video from me on The Swindle. Sort of a weird stealth-like game with steampunk elements. I may be doing sort of an intro video in terms of what I will be doing for the week at the start of a week, but we'll see what happens with that. All right, I will see you all later. Enjoy the rest of your day. Keep on gaming, and just have fun. Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you like this content and want to see more of it, you may want to hit that subscribe button on the left-hand side. If you like this video and want to see more of this content, take a look at this video on the left-hand side as well. And if you missed my last video, take a look at the right-hand side. Once again, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.